So, one of my subscribers was saying that season two was the best season of all times. Now, I can't even lie, they had the good feels, the vibes, and one of the craziest love triangles in history. So, if you thought that Theo had it bad, if you thought Theo was delusional, well, you haven't met Zoe of season two. So we're definitely taking it way back to one of the most emotional feel season, which is season two. And we all know that our favorite Kari baby, Jungwoo, was on there. So yeah, that's what make it very emotional. And plus, you guys knows that my man is Jin Young, and that's when his breakout season came on. Now let's talk about this love triangle, pretty much of a love square, because we do have Bin and Sion. So that makes four people all in the whole love situation where two of them is wanting the other two and the other two wants nothing to do with them. Now, the whole situation with Yoong-Jae could have been easily solved. I feel as though he wasted majority of her time, just like Theo's. But with Theo, he was wasted more because she told Theo at the end, towards the finale. And that kind of sucks because he didn't have a chance to pivot to meet anyone else. So let's get right into it. On episode 1, Zoe is partnered with Yoong-Jae and Sejong, and they was going off to the islands, just getting familiar with it. And honestly, he sat far away from them when they were all sitting underneath when they were sitting down, and he was sitting far away from them. And then this is when Sejong started putting on her fake moves, pretending like she has something in her feet, like she has a splinter, just to get all the attention on her. Now, the thing about Zoe is that Zoe is very naive and she does not have any game or experience. So she's just watching. She's basically invisible here. So I can understand why she was saying that, or trying to try harder with Yoong-Jae, because she didn't really have a chance to shine because Sejong took over everything. So when they all went back into the room, all the girls asking everybody, okay, like, are you interested in anyone? And Sejong was actually looking at Zoe because she wanted to know if she liked it, Yoong-Jae, just to make sure that, she wasn't any competition. So Zoe was like, no, I'm not really liking anyone. But the story always changes once they get into confessionals, because she was just like, oh my gosh, I like you, Jay. He smells so good. His cologne was just smelling so good. So yeah, she had a thing for him, but she did not want to let the girls know, which I would never, let them know. But like one of the most funniest thing about the episode is the voiceovers, because the voiceover in English and the one in Korean is so different, and the voiceovers be funny because the voices never matches the face. So that's pretty much hilarious to me. Now we're going to get straight into the kitchen scene because it's very important, because this is where Sion and Yoong-Jae meet for the first time cutting daikon. So the conversation pretty much, flowed naturally. They were laughing, they had good chemistry, and honestly, it was just light and bright. It wasn't forced or anything like that. And the weird thing about this whole situation is that Zoe was watching everything. And she even, Sion actually was the one that invited her to help her cut the daikon. And I feel as though if Zoe was paying close enough attention, she should have seen that, it was a little bit more going on. But since Yoong-Jae is pretty much fake with everybody, I feel as though that she didn't see it. And she even asked Sion, can she switch places with her? And that's when Sion went over there and did the rice with Bin when they were cutting onions. And, I think that's when, Sion pretty much knew that Zoe was interested in Yoong-Jae. So she just let things play out the way it is. I'm not really sure if she was liking him, but I'm guessing she was liking him the whole time if she sat back and had that conversation with him before it was time for elimination. Now, Yoong-Jae went over there and helped Zoe with the fire and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't think that I'm not going to say that he wasn't interested, but he was being very helpful with Zoe, so I can see how she can read into it as to, he likes her or not. But I think that Yoong-Jae was just being polite. That's just what he does. He just puts on a little show. So do you guys agree that he was just being polite? Well, obviously, because he did help everybody. He did help everybody, including, Seon with the daikon. So he goes back close to Seon to go and empty the water. And that's when, Soe went over there and watched him do everything and watch him dump the water. But he initially went back over there with Seon. So, she was smiling and stuff like that. And then they were also washing the dishes, looking at the sunset. And, that's when she just fell deeply, deeply, deeply in love with Yoong-Jae. And he had no clue. Because now it's time for the postcards to be sent out. And everybody, got a postcard but Soe. And Yoong-Jae gave a postcard to Sejong. So everybody was thinking that, Sejong, her little games were working because, she did get a postcard and Soe didn't get anything. And I feel as though at that point in time, this is literally like the second sign that he's not even interested in you, because he did not even give Soe a postcard. And she was sitting there looking devastated because nobody wanted her. Nobody wanted her, and she just felt very rejected. And this is where the time where everybody's mixing and matching. Dongwoo is all in love with Seok. Nadine is jealous of Seok because she wants Dongwoo. And honestly, I would definitely put Nadine and Sejong in the same category, because they both were playing all these games and they both didn't even get anybody that they actually wanted. So yeah, it was kind of weird. And I would have took that as a sign that she should have got to know Haibin, because honestly, I feel like her and Haibin would have made a good couple. I don't understand why they were in a friend zone, because they are the same exact type of person. And I didn't really like how Haibin was trying to tell her who she should not like. She needs to give up on, on Yoong-Jae, but he was not even trying to give up on Seon after she even put him in the friend zone. So I don't even understand why he did not take his own advice, because he even went in line to see would she pick him at the end. So, I mean, if he did all that, he should have just let Soe do it too. But because honestly, Soe didn't even like her match that she was with. Let's just be honest. She didn't really like him as much as she liked the Yoong-Jae. And honestly, I feel as though Soe may have liked Haibin a little bit, but, he didn't like her, so she didn't really, push it. And I just feel like it's because Soe is young. She doesn't have any experience. Remember, she's an actress. She's trying to, feel and talk about love. But love in real life is different than love on a movie set. It's so different. It's so messy. It's so crazy. And it's something that can't be fake. You have to be real and authentic with it. And I feel as though she also could have felt for Yoong-Jae, because he was acting. He was being fake with her. So she's used to, reading lines and, seeing the scenes. And Yoong-Jae was being an actor when it comes to her, because he was acting like he liked her, but he did not like her at all. But when it came to him and Seon, he couldn't fake those feelings, because he thought that, one way, and then she went to paradise. He was acting all crazy and stuff, about to lose his mind in Inferno. So that's the difference. So I feel like this is why she was being misled, because he was acting with her just like he was acting like he was interested in Sejong, and he didn't want neither one of them, honestly. He was just being nice and, just going on about his day and making the time pass. So when it came to the postcards, Yoong-Jae received 2 postcards, one from Sejong and the other one is from Soe, of course. So do you think that, that first impression really mattered at the end of the day? Because honestly, I feel like it doesn't. Everybody was mix and matching the first couple of days, and then everybody that was so hot and heavy for each other the first days, it pretty much sizzled out the next couple of days. So I wonder why that is. I feel like I don't know. I wonder why the first impression people that we think that's going to match, we think that's going to be lasting forever, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I wonder why these matches did not work at all. So when she's seeing Yoong-Jae with his pamphlet, his little work thing that he was working on, and she spoke to him directly and told him basically that she wants to talk to him. But he literally told her and asked her, oh, did you get any postcards? He told her that's sign number 3. He told her that because he knows for a fact that he didn't pick you. So that means you should move on. And so she took that as a sign that she needs to be more direct with him, and they need to sit down and get to know each other, where he basically sat there and told her that, he didn't even pick her. So I feel as though she should have kept it moving. She should have kept it pushing. And honestly, she should have started making moves on Habin, because Yoong-Jae was a lost cause. You literally seeing him talking to Seon. You literally seeing, him not giving you a postcard, and you're still pressing forward. And I feel as though she was kind of influenced by, Jung-woo, because, he kept picking Suki, and Soki is ignoring him. Habin is getting ignored. Everybody's getting ignored. But, I feel as though she just felt like she had more time to persuade him, and she didn't. So the whole situation between Yoong-Jae and Sejong, when she was like, she is the view, and he just started laughing, he literally quickly ignored her and put the attention back on Soe at the table, because this is why she was getting confused. Because one minute he's telling her, oh, we're cool, but then he's paying attention to why she wasn't eating. So this is easily can be taken as interest when it came to Soe. So this is why she was so, confused. But Sejong wasn't confused, because if he keeps doing that towards her, acting like that he doesn't like her, that means that he really, didn't like her. I don't think that he really liked the attention from Sejong, because she was being too forward and too direct. And, he was trying to, I guess he does like the fact that he wants to pick the person that he wants to, be with. And most guys are like that. Some of them do like to be pursued, but other guys, it's really up to the guy to pick, who it is that he wants. Even though he was laughing, trying to make her not feel uncomfortable, that kind of led to him not having any interest to Sejong. Like, never heard about her ever again. And when he did not pick her for Paradise, she was definitely confused. But then that's when she started to understand that he is not really interested in her like that, not even a little bit. So after the whole situation, everyone is mixing and mingling, and then obviously Sejong still didn't get the the message when they were sitting down, and she was saying that they were going to go to the States together, and basically Seon basically gave them the blessing. So that's when I was realizing that he had eyes for Seon, because he just kept staring at Seon in the abyss. Even though he was talking to everybody, I can just see his eyes were, on Seon. And Seon was playing it cool, because she said that, they make a good couple. She was trying to, basically she was testing him to see exactly what he was going to do. And she got her man. So let's get into this whole situation with the chicken fight, and how, Nadine was so jealous of Soki. She was very jealous of Soki, because she literally was trying to go ahead and attack Soki, because Nadine wanted Dongwoo so bad. She was doing everything for his attention, acting like she did not know what to do, acting like her Korean was that bad, but she can understand Korean. So I feel like she was acting and being fake the same way Sejong was being fake, and this is why they didn't get anybody. Okay. And I didn't really pretty much care for Nadine either ways, because I don't know, I just didn't really care for her. She didn't really stick out to me during the season. This is why she was kind of fading into the background. She was trying to get some camera time, but it wasn't working for her. Now with the chicken fight, Soe wins, and she been having Yoong-Jae on her mind, on the back of her head, 10,000, and basically he was her motivation. And the funny thing about it is that Sejong knew that Soe had some type of interest in him. This is why Sejong was trying to go after Soe, because she knows that Soe likes him as well. So everyone pretty much knew who liked who. I feel like a lot of the times behind the scenes they're having more conversation about who likes who, and we already knew that Sejong was trying to put the moves on Yoong-Jae, and it wasn't really working out for her. And honestly, when Yoong-Jae was giving attention to Soe, that's pretty much how she knew that he had a thing for her, even though he did not have a thing for neither one of them. I do feel as though he did have a little bit of something for Soe, because he just kept going towards her, or I just feel like he may have just liked the attention that Soe gives him as well. So it doesn't have to be romantic love. I just feel like that he likes how much that she likes him. That's pretty much how that goes. So when he goes on a coffee date, she chose Dongwoo, and she picks Yoong-Jae. And then she keeps giving him the eye. She keeps, putting her hair, swinging her hair, touching her hair, because she wants, him to know that she's interested. Again, all of these moves that she's learning, or the signals that she's learning from Sejong. It's the wrong signals. She's tried to do the same thing that Sejong did in the cafeteria when she was telling Yoong-Jae that she was a view. She was trying to be bold and direct, and she is being misguided. Soe doesn't have any game. That's all that was. If Soe had game, I feel as though she would have been able to get Yoong-Jae. But since she's inexperienced, she ain't, she's just never been that girl. I don't feel like she knows how to compete fairly. Because Yoong-Jae was very easy to get, in my opinion. Like I said, I feel like I should go to Single Inferno because, you have to learn. And it wouldn't be inauthentic to be playing games. No, I'm not saying for you to play games to be fake. I'm saying play games to be real, but you have to do it in a certain type of way. And I feel like Soe just didn't have it. But at the same time, he let her know that, he asked her this question about how is she in relationships. And he was like, oh, he tends to drag it out because he don't like to reject people. Sign number 4, he does not want you. He was literally telling her, basically how he thought about her in the conversation. I think it accidentally slipped out, but he was talking about her the whole time. Now, when it comes to, Yoong-Jae, he was kind of sending her mixed signals because he started giving her compliments about her earrings. And then Jung-woo put him on spot, was like, so what earrings did she have on yesterday? And he was like, I don't remember, but I like these a little bit more. So he was playing into that narrative of him having some type of signals. But again, he wasn't really being serious. That's how some guys do when they want some attention. So I feel as though he just like how much Soe likes him. Even if he doesn't, like her too much, he just likes the energy that she's giving him. And I feel as though she didn't figure that out until it was pretty much too late. But even at the end of the day, even at the end of the season, she still wanted him. If he would have picked her, she would have went. And one of the highlighted moments when they were having a conversation on a coffee date, he was basically, telling her how he is in a relationship. He literally stated that he would drag it out because he don't really know how to end relationships. And if he likes someone, he will probably just suffer through it because he don't like to give out rejection. But he was basically telling her about himself and their dynamic, but she did not catch that, which was sign number 5. This is why it's very important to listen to people or whoever it is that you're dating, if you see them as a choice, to see how they really feel about you, because sometimes it will accidentally slip out. Even though he wanted to tell her that, he wasn't bold enough to actually set boundaries and let her know that he wasn't interested. So when it was time to go to Paradise, Yoong-Jae had choices to make, and he really did not know who he was going to choose. Now, as the viewers, we thought he had to pick between Sejong and Soe, but it turns out he has Seon on his mind. So if he would never sit down and have that conversation with Seon before, going to Paradise, would he have risked it all to pick her? I don't know. I don't think he would have. I don't think that Yoong-Jae can handle being rejected, because the way he was acting in Inferno when she went to Paradise would have been, he was losing his mind. Luckily, he was on camera because he was acting crazy. He was jittery. He was shaking and stuff. Like, what is wrong with you? So no, I feel like if they never had that conversation, would eventually talk to her? I think like maybe when he got back from Paradise, maybe, but I don't know. It was a complicated situation because no one was expecting that curveball, not even me. But when they had that conversation, it was clear that they both had liked each other. So this is why they went to Paradise. And from that moment on, Sejong knew that, she never had a chance in the first place, or he wasn't interested. All those fake moves that she was doing was not working. And I feel like Sejong does not have really a personality, because if you have to do fake moves to get some attention about you having a splinter in your foot, that's not really going to take you far. You having a fake crises is not really going to take you far. So hopefully that she learned from that, being on this, Single Inferno. Now, Yoong-Jae had chose Sion. They went to paradise and they were talking about everything, because the reason why he wasn't even speaking to Sion, because he thought that she was out of his league and that she wasn't interested in him, because they didn't talk. And so he didn't really know that if he had a chance or not to be with her. He didn't know if things were going to work out. So this is why he was just playing along with, So-wi and Sejong, because he knows for a fact that, they like him, but he wasn't really that much interested. Could have grown to like Sejong and So-wi? I think so. But at the same time, he's just hard to read sometimes. So I feel as though he just, say one thing to do another thing. I don't think that would have worked out for, either one of them. So I feel as though he made the right choice with picking Seon. But I feel as though the only reason why Seon went with Yoong-Jae is because Jung-woo was liking So-ki more. She was interested in Jung-woo, but Jung-woo was interested in So-ki the whole time. Remember, she was like, oh, your sweater is so cute and all these things like that. She didn't really have anybody that liked her too much but Ha-bin, but obviously she wasn't feeling Ha-bin too much. But she was actually really liking Yoong-Jae, which was a surprise, which I don't know, because even with her being with Yoong-Jae, she was actually acting like she was interested in Jin Young as well, because she was so curious as to the reason why he picked her. But he only picked her because she was bubbly, remember? So I don't know. I feel like Seon just went with him. Everybody thought that it was just like a match made in heaven. I don't think so at all, because I feel like it's going to be a lot of, work to do in this relationship, even though, it is clear she is the person that he wants. And I do feel like it's good. I feel like she is good for him, because she makes him more, make him more in his masculine energy to me. Because when he was with Sejong was like, pick me, we're going to go to paradise, Sejong was like the man of the relationship, because she was pretty much telling him like what they're going to do, what they're going to be, and stuff like that. And so with Seon was more in the back. She pretty much let him, take the lead of the relationship, which she did. But I probably need to look back at the scene to see, did Seon talk to him first, or did he say something to her first when they were having that conversation in front of the temp in paradise? Because like I said, would have stepped up to do it? I don't know if he would have. That's just my take on it. And I do like that, he is interested in her, because he does like to talk. I mean, he kept the girl up for 24 hours on these nights, and they were just talking all like. So he do like conversation. So this is why I was saying that he's very confusing to me, because he also give, So-wi his attention as well in conversation. So I really don't see that much of a difference. Only difference that I see when it comes to, Seon is that he picks her a lot. He picks her. He wants to be with her. He wants to give her all of his time. But he was also giving time to So-wi and Sejong. But I guess the difference is that he just wasn't interested in them. That's the difference. And I can definitely tell the difference when he having conversations with, So-wi and Seon. But it's kind of the same, because he likes to be babied. Remember when they were in paradise and she was like, oh, you haven't eaten or anything like that? Not the first time, but the second time, he was like, I'm just waiting on you to feed it to me. And she was like, oh no, this can't happen again. So he also likes to be babied in a sense when it comes to the relationship. So I don't think that the women got it wrong as far as his personality of him liking women that are, assertive and opinionated. Oh, he likes those type of women. So I don't really understand why he did not pick Sejong, because, she tells it like it is and stuff like that. I just think he likes a quiet bossy over a extroverted bossy like Sejong. Like Sejong is bossy and everybody can tell she's loud and she's boisterous. But with Seon, she's more of a quiet bossy. She doesn't really do too much. She doesn't really say too much. It's just how her energy presents herself. And she's like bossy in a soft way. She's not bossy in a forceful way or anything like that. It's just a quiet leadership. And I feel as though that's what he likes, because he's also very competitive. You know, you would not thought, you know, at first glance that Yoong-Jae was very competitive, but he's also, you know, competitive, but in a softer, low-key type of way. So I can definitely see the reason why they match and they make a good couple, because they're very quiet and calculated type of people. That's why they're matching. They don't really show too much, but you know, when they're together, I feel like, and they feel comfortable with you, they will show more of themselves. And the same thing with Sion. She was very polite with Bin, but she did end up telling him that, you know, she wasn't interested. Now, this was the most cringiest moment on season 2 when it came to the conversation that he had with Soe at the campfire, because he was acting like that he did not know what was going on. He was confused. And the next time we're going to paradise. What? He was still going to lie to this girl if she would never took control of the situation, if she would never said that, no, you're lying. Basically, the whole campfire scene was her calling him out on his BS, because he's been lying to her long enough. And I don't really understand why he was willing to continue to lie. And my whole thing is that Seon never said anything either, because A, is not her place, but I feel like she was feeling kind of strange that Soe was still interested in him. But it's the fact that he was never willing to admit that he wasn't interested in her was kind of strange to me, because if you don't like the girl, why do you keep telling her that we're about to go to paradise next time? I've made a mistake. Next time, seriously, I'm going to pick you, I promise. Like, all you had to say was, you know, yeah, you're right. And he finally did agree to it after this conversation, but why couldn't you just say that on your own? Why did she literally have to drag the truth out of you? I just never understood that part. He was sitting there like he was a scolded child in a school chair. Like, you know, when your mom say you got an F, you're gonna be on punishment. He was just sitting there hunched over like a child. And I'm just like, well, I would expect him being older than, you know, Soe, for him to let her know what it is so she wouldn't be confused. I mean, I guess everyone has an expectation when you're dating someone older that they'll be more clear and they will set more boundaries so you be understanding, not being very confused and sending more mixed signals to her. That's what I didn't understand. So I didn't understand why he was going to die on that lie that he keeps telling her. Like, I just didn't really understand that part. I know people saying that he already told us that he don't like to reject people, but at the same time, like, you have to, you know, reject the guys. Like, it's so easy for him to talk to the guys, but he can't say it to Soe. I don't know, I just find that quite strange, because he's not very quiet. Like, you hear him how he talks to the guys and he's telling them, you know, I'm very competitive and I like to win and stuff like that. So I just don't understand why he was acting like that. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because he knows that he has been lying. He knows what everything that he has been doing. It's not that he feels bad. He just feels guilty because he knows for a fact that he don't like her. He knows he has been giving her mixed signals. He knows that he has been leading her on. And the fact that she's calling him out, not in an angry way. She's actually offering him friendship, which he doesn't deserve none of that, by the way. I'm not saying just because he didn't want her that he doesn't deserve it, but I'm just saying, like, that mixed signals and stuff and playing games with her, she didn't deserve that. Just tell her that you didn't like her and move on. So what do you guys think of, you know, this situation between Yoong-Jae and Soe? Did you think it was, you know, do you agree with my perspective? Do you have your own perspective? Comment down below. I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys feel about the love square when you add Bin and you add Sion? Do you guys feel like Bin and Soe would make a good couple? Like I said, I think they would have. Would you think that Bin and Sion would make a good couple? But I just feel as though, you know, Bin was just too young for her at the end of the day. I feel like that was the only reason why she didn't want him. Thank you guys for coming to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.